And when is the second by-election going to be held?
The second by-election?
Well, I mean, we don't really know whether voters really knew what they were voting for when they elected you, so shouldn't we have a second by-election? You want a second EU referendum, don't you?
I was very clear in my campaign exactly what I was standing for, and the voters have returned me to Parliament with a very clear mandate.
A clear mandate, but less than 50% of the people of Richmond voted for you. Are you sure you've got that mandate?
Well, I won the vote last night in the by-election, and we've overturned a huge Conservative majority here.
You have, and yet you have questioned the EU referendum vote. You say that one of the biggest issues on which you stood, I mean, we thought Heathrow would be the big issue. There wasn't actually a single candidate who was campaigning for a third runway for Heathrow, so Heathrow became a dud issue in the election. It became all about Brexit. In what way have you got a mandate from the people of Richmond? If you don't have more than 50% of the vote on the EU referendum on June the 23rd was a much clearer mandate, wasn't it?
Well, as I say, I campaigned on that issue in this by-election, and I won a clear majority of the votes last night.
You absolutely did, but your margin of victory was only about the same as the margin of victory in the EU referendum, about 4.5%. In which case, again, should we not rerun the by-election to be clear?
Well, we accept the result of the referendum. What we're saying is that we think there should be a further vote on the terms before we make final decision to leave.
Did your party leader Tim Farron, did he mention that before? And did anyone else on the Remain campaign mention that before June the 23rd?
Well, it's a development since the referendum. So
we're allowed to change our policy after the referendum and then go back and revisit the referendum. Is that what we're doing?
Sorry, I missed that.
Well, I'm just a bit confused because when we had a Remain campaign, we had a Leave campaign, just as you've run a campaign, Zach Goldsmith ran a campaign, Christian Wormoff, the Labour Party. Voters knew what they were voting for in your by-election. They knew what they were voting for in the EU referendum. Why do we think that one election should be rerun and one shouldn't?
Well, in the referendum, it wasn't clear what people were voting for when they voted Leave. There wasn't a clear manifesto set out. There wasn't a clear manifesto set out for the terms of we voted for a departure, but not a destination. There was no clear manifesto for what happened to our membership of the single market. Or what
yes, there was. The Remain campaign said we were going to leave the single market if we voted out. Yes, they did. They repeated it. Every single leading member of the Remain campaign said a vote to leave the EU was a vote to leave the single market. Nothing unclear about that at all.
I'm really sorry, but Sarah only has to leave now.
No, she doesn't. Sarah, if you want to be elected Member of Parliament, I think you should probably be able to answer some simple questions about your policy. Can you get Sarah back on the line, please?
Sorry about that.
We've waited an hour. I don't know who you are. We've waited an hour to have this interview. If she doesn't want to answer questions from a radio station, perhaps she's not fit to be an MP.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. She's got another interview now.
Has she got another interview now? That's funny because she was booked in for this time. So, that's the Liberal Democrats, folks.